and welcome to today's episode of Homemade Kitchen. As always, I'm your host, Love Deepa. Today we're going to be doing a recipe for a lovely fall salad. You can use whatever greens you have available at your local market. I am very lucky to be living in California and to have access to some amazing farms and amazing markets. So I'm going to be using some arugula and spinach, some beautiful Brussels sprouts that we're going to shave, and we're going to combine this with a really tasty dressing. Very clean, very simple, very easy to do, and something that kind of can go as a side item or a main item if you want to throw some protein on top. Let's enjoy this beautiful salad together and get those beautiful greens in our hearts. So one of the other advantages of having these beautiful farmers markets is that one of the beautiful farmers cuts the squash for me. So I'm cheating a little bit. This is Delicata Squash. You can use butternut squash or whatever squash you have available to you. And if not, maybe you can use some sweet potato. All of it works. You just want something that has a little sweetness to it, a little nuttiness. We're gonna take this, we're gonna go preheat the oven to 400 degrees and put it in for about 20 to 40 minutes, depending. We want the squash to get nice and brown on the outside. And then we're gonna combine our greens while our squash is roasting. I'm gonna use some Celtic Grey Salt. Most supermarkets will have this in the baking aisle. I like it because it has additional minerals and has a really nice taste to it. Black pepper. So for the dressing, I wanted to keep it light, but really flavorful. So we're gonna start off with about 3 tablespoons, maybe a little less, of a good organic stone ground mustard. I'm gonna put several shakes of onion powder. If I had to guess, I'd say about a teaspoon. Now I'm using coconut aminos because I can't do soy, and I recommend coconut aminos because I feel like something that just has coconut, tree sap, and sea salt is pretty decent. So maybe about 1/4 of a cup. A little flaxseed for the omegas, about a tablespoon. Again, it's not about exact measurements, it's about getting comfortable in combining foods together. I want a little bit of heat, so I'm gonna use this awesome wasabi powder I found, which has 3 ingredients in it: horseradish, mustard, and wasabi. That's it. If you only have horseradish available to you, you can use that. You can use some wasabi paste or just red pepper. And then we're gonna do the juice of 1 lemon. If you don't have a juicy lemon, please use 2 lemons. You wanna make sure you get that fresh, vibrant flavor. Depending on what type of lemon you have available, you may wanna add a little maple syrup as sweetener. I'm using a Meyer lemon, so it's a naturally sweeter lemon. So we're gonna whisk this together. And then we're gonna whisk in just a little bit of avocado oil. That was less than half a tablespoon. Ooh, that's delicious. You still get that really bright mustard flavor, but you're also getting that nice sweetness of the lemon. I think it does need a little bit more aminos, so we're gonna add those. And I feel like with dressings, you gotta do what's tasty for you. So not everyone is gonna want their dressing the same as somebody else, so make it your own. I have one of these handy dandy tools. It is a glove that you can use while you're cutting or using sharp objects so that you don't cut your skin. Now, normally on a mandolin like this, you would have a guard. I have unfortunately lost my guard and haven't been able to get a new one yet, so I'm using these. I do not recommend at home that you use a mandolin without the guard. Please protect your digits, guys, because I have personally cut myself on one of these and it is not fun. So if you don't have one of these, fear not. You can use your knife and you're basically gonna shred it. So you can actually, if you don't wanna cut it like this and make it fine, what you can do is you can also get a shredder. We're gonna be doing raw Brussels sprouts in the salad, so we don't want them to be thick because thick raw Brussels sprouts aren't really appealing. Okay, so we've shaved the Brussels sprouts now, and I'm gonna take a little bit of the dressing we just made, and I'm gonna just drizzle some on top. just so it can start marinating. And I'm gonna save the other half of the dressing for after I add all the other greens. But because the Brussels sprouts are a little more on the hearty side than the other greens, we want them to start marinating. And I'm gonna take about, let's say 2 handfuls of some raisins. And raisins are already pretty small, but we're just gonna give it a fine little dice. So just a little bit of sweetness through the salad. I'm gonna take that and drizzle that right into the salad. And then we're just gonna let that sit. The squash is still cooking. And once the squash is done, we're gonna let it cool a little bit. And once it's cooled, we'll add the other greens and the squash to the salad and serve it up. So some of the pieces of the squash are cooking faster than the others. We're about 30 minutes in. And so I'm gonna pull the pieces that are nice and roasted like this and flip anything that needs to be flipped. So I'm gonna get about, let's say, a handful of some of this beautiful spinach from the market. I am gonna chop it because I want it to be similar in texture to the Brussels sprouts, but not exactly the same. Pile that beautiful green spinach on there. And we're gonna do this amazing, beautiful peppery arugula. We're gonna do the same thing, just a rough chop so you can get a nice little forkful. I had a little idea while I was waiting for the squash. We're gonna take a little bit of those raisins and we're going to plump them up to add a little juicy element into the salad. A little over a tablespoon of raisins. Now guys, this is an experiment for me too. I have no idea how this is gonna turn out. So we may or may not actually end up using this in the salad, but I'm along for this ride, so let's do this. We put a little bit of water in the pan, just enough to just cover the tops of the raisins. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna sweeten the water that's in the raisins, and we're gonna add these raisins to the remainder half of the dressing that we have so that we can sweeten the dressing with a natural sweetener and add a little fun texture to the dressing, because why not? Right now, I'm on a no nut, no seed diet. However, I can have hemp seeds. So we're gonna add some hemp seeds to the salad, but feel free to add walnuts, pepitas, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, whatever seed or nut of choice for a little added crunch. The water is starting to sizzle. And you also notice that the raisins are starting to plump up a little more. By adding heat, we're speeding up the process of the raisins rehydrating. We are going to put it into the dressing. Our squash is done. Nice and crispy. Don't forget, you eat with your eyes first. You're gonna get some of this amped up dressing, if you will. Just give the whole plate a nice little drizzle. You've got those plumpy raisins and this beautiful mustard vinaigrette and a drizzle of some hemp seeds. We have our beautiful fall salad flavors. Don't forget that the secret ingredient for this beautiful fall salad is still gonna be love. You guessed it.